Hi, this is Krishna Gopal, and today I am looking at a word called serendipity. And as I put this word into my life, I find that my life has been a set of serendipitous events right through till the age that I am now, which is 60 years of age. So I decided to do one thing. I decided to pull out seven rules or seven guideposts that can help you navigate your own life. Hopefully, this helps. Rule number one: even if you feel you do not belong, remember it does not mean that you are not competent, right? I'm repeating this again. Don't belong doesn't mean incompetent. Take my own life. I was born in the year 1960, and in the year 1962, the place I was in, which was Burma, became a totalitarian military state. And my parents therefore decided that it was not worth living in that state because one of the things that happened was education was mandated to be done in the Burmese medium. I did some schooling there. I went to a Christian missionary school. I was homeschooled for a couple of years. But ultimately, in the year 1968, we did come back to India and were based in Bombay. My father put me in a very simple school called Afak English School in Chembur. Not a great school, but good enough. And most importantly, I was put straight into class 4. I had never gone to school anywhere ever. And school straight away started for me in class 4. Expectations were very low from me, from my parents. They just were so happy that I was getting a formal education in the English medium. And then the results of the first term came. It was actually sent home by post. My mother anxiously looked at me, actually wanting to know if I would just pass. And I opened the envelope and I find that I stood fourth in class. So, frankly, I was competent. The teachers thought that I was good enough in a class of 45 to be ranked 4. So, that brings me to rule number 2, which is if you don't get what you like, learn to like what you get. So, what is the story of my life? Let us cut to standard 12 or grade 12 at the age of 17. I was a bright student by then. Of course, everybody acknowledged that. But I was in a batch which was the first batch of a new curriculum that the government had introduced. And remember, the last batch of the previous curriculum was also in operation, which meant that for the same number of seats of engineering, there were double the number of students. And by the way, if you ask me why engineering, because I hated biology. I did not want to do finance and become an accountant. So engineering was another serendipitous choice that I was making. So when the results came out, I did not make it to the engineering college. I was crushed, disappointed. Bright, studious student, not able to get a seat in engineering was a big disappointment. I signed up for the Bachelor's of Science, BSc as they call it in India, and resolved that I would do well the next year to get into the Indian Institutes of Technology. And guess what happened? Around July, I get another letter from the Department of Education saying that, hey, we have decided to increase the number of engineering seats this year. And would you come and give your choice? I made it to the Walchand College of Engineering in Sangli, disappointed because I thought I was entitled to get into the VJTI or SPCE in Bombay. But I did make it to Walchand College. And frankly, within 2 years, I cracked. I was a topper at the university and was able to move back to VJTI and did my final engineering from VJTI. That brings me to rule number 3 of my life, which is that all that is black need not always be coal. There could be a lurking diamond beneath. What is the story? So I was in the 4th year of my engineering, final year, which is, and everybody was scrambling to write GRE, GMAT, wanting to go abroad and do MS at America. Many still were writing the CAT, the Common Advanced Aptitude Test for the IIMs or the XLRI XAT test. I did nothing of the kind, right? And when the time came, I just sat for the common entrance test, which gives you admission to the Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management, CET it's called. I wrote the exam, didn't make it to the merit list. crushed again. And then resolved that next year I would study hard for the CAT and get into IIMs. And then guess what happens? I get a letter from the University of Bombay saying that this year they are opening 3 new MBA schools: SPJIMR, NMIMS, and Chetana College of Management, and asked me, would you like to choose and give your preference? I use the Inky Pinky Ponky method and choose SPJIMR. And guess what? In 10 years' time, SPJIMR becomes one of the top MBA schools, not only in India, but across the world. Talk of glittering diamond lurking beneath. That's the story of my life. So, rule number 4, your value is known only to those who recognize your worth. It's a very, very important thing. What is the story? I was at the B school, considered very studious, but not considered street smart by a long mile by everyone around. And when the placement season happened, first year, first batch, remember, Godrej and Boyce, a very leading organization in India, came for campus placement. Godrej used to go for the MBA program or management training program only to the IIMs, XLRI, and Jamnalal Bajaj. So their coming to SPJIMR was a huge thing, huge prestige for our college. About 6 of us went to the campus of Godrej and Boyce in Vikhroli in Bombay, and it was almost a full day process. We had to write an essay, and there were 2 CXO level interviews, the final one being with Mr. Jamshed Godrej himself. And there were other students from the IIMs and XLRI and also from another college called NMIMS. Finally, they picked, I think, 6 students that year. I was the only pick from the SPJIMR Institute of Management. My street smart mates were crushed, and they actually made me feel that this job was not worth it because of the process that happened. But you know what? Godrej obviously saw the worth in me. They gave me the value. Rule number 5, value comes sometimes disguised as a problem. While I was at Godrej, I went through the management training program, followed all the processes, got exposure to sales, marketing, product management, what have you. But I never felt that I was ready for the various roles that came my way. Anyway, around 1989, because of a personal exigency, I had to relocate back to Bombay. And I was placed under a very mercurial, difficult, and demanding boss. He also happened to be an alumnus from the Harvard Business School. Frankly, that was the time when I learned to work. That was the time when I transitioned from being a boy to being a man. It came late in life, but I think it was the most invaluable lesson that I got. So, coming to rule number 6, what I am saying is that if it has to happen, it will happen. Some of us call it karma. Take my stint in Godrej itself. Within a few years of my stint there, it was becoming apparent that IT industry was the sunrise industry, and that it is a better industry to get into from the kind of industry that we were in Godrej. But you know what happened? With the same boss, mercurial, demanding boss, I was able to move into the IT industry within Godrej itself. Many years later, I joined MBT, which was at that time a mid-sized IT firm. And I remember that many people who joined MBT along with me very swiftly moved on and latched on to MNCs like Oracle and Microsoft and CA and what have you, and made a career there. Even many others left and joined so-called faster growing firms like TCS or Infosys or Wipro. But I just hung on, serendipity. And frankly, at the end of it, was I worse off for it? I don't think so. The opportunity to create some wealth, create a base for a good life, still did happen here. And that to me is serendipity. And finally, the rule number 7. When the aha moment comes in your life, be thankful to God, surrender, and go with the flow. I was always been in sales and marketing because Godrej put me in that area, but there was also a background to it. Why? Because I had done my MBA in marketing. Why marketing? Because I did not want to do operations. I did not like finance. And it seemed absurd that I will do HR or personnel after having done engineering. So marketing was as the only choice left. However, wherever I went and whichever teams I led, I spent an inordinate amount of time coaching and mentoring my team. And this was something that came to me naturally, even though having cut my teeth, learned to work with a very difficult, mercurial boss, I myself became like that. And it was the process of my training and coaching may not have been pleasant at many times, but people saw a lot of value in what I was giving. I was handling a very difficult region, Middle East and Africa. And actually, in my company, people started to tell, hey, he should have been in HR. What is he doing in sales? Anyway, to cut a long story short, when I rejoined Tech Mahindra back in the year 2013, my CEO, CP Gurnani, put me in a sales training role. At the ripe age of 53, I discovered something that was close to my ikigai, something that I love to do. And till today, I continue to love this aspect of my work. Serendipity again. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here are my 7 rules or guideposts of serendipity to lead a successful corporate life. Number 1, even if you do not belong, don't think that you are not competent. Number 2, if you don't get what you like, learn to like what you get. Number 3, all that is black need not always be coal. There could be a lurking diamond underneath. Number 4, your value is known only to those who know your worth. Number 5, value many times comes disguised as a problem. Number 6, if it has to happen, it will happen. In many circles, we call this karma. And finally, number 7, when the aha moment happens, you will know. Surrender and go with the flow. Thank you very much for watching this TEDx talk.